There's freedom and flexibility throughout the publishing process, professional book editing, award-winning design, and some of the highest royalty structures in the publishing industry. And as always, you will retain 100% of the rights to your book.
I was looking to find a company that I could trust, one that assisted in the editing process completely.
The most important qualities that I was looking for was a publisher who was honest and upfront, no hidden costs or fees, and owning the rights to my own work.
Christian Faith Publishing will publish, market, and sell your books in all major bookstores, online booksellers, as well as specialty Christian bookstores. Call for your free author submission kit.
800-978-4812. 800-978-4812. 800-978-4812. That's 800-978-4812.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395.
The voice of Johnson County, JoCo Community Radio.
This is awesome. I never have a pretty chick standing over my shoulder, right? Like it's like there's a lady just right there. Holy crap, people. Tiffany's in the studio with us tonight. This is awesome. Fun, right? Creepy. Just creepy. Let me make sure my mic is turned up at the right. Like she was. It was perfect.
Go get some sleep.
Yeah, she got to get some rest. Okay, this is the JoCo voice. I am your host, Mike Wilshire. I'm the guy that's been around the world twice and probably done everything once. Tonight, I have with me, I'm going to make sure I got your mic turned on, Alf. I got Alf, not the alien life
That's
form.
right.
I got Alf Evans, singer, songwriter, recording artist.
Yep.
Man, it's good to have you in the studio.
Good to be here.
You had a day.
I have.
I mean, Tiffany just walked in and came out and told us about her day. But you too are sitting on a day. You've been on the air
For my first time, by the way, ever.
And how's your voice?
It's a little froggy now. I've been talking all day. I was on the Fishbowl Radio Network just after lunch for a couple hours.
Right.
Really, really cool.
Mhm.
And then now I'm over here.
Oh,
And so my first day in radio.
and you're already like, I'm exhausted, people. Y'all are killing me.
I'm still flying high. That's pretty cool. I've done a podcast. My buddy ran a podcast down in Marble Falls. So
Right.
been in a room with microphone. He was really excited when they got these fancy microphone stands. But this is kind of my first run. So I'm stoked.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because we're small, but we're not creepy. That's what I tell everybody. We're not in a basement. You're not coming to my basement and I'm going to go, it takes the lotion out of the basket. No, you're actually in a storefront. You can see.
Right, you can see me if you come up here.
People will see you.
Yeah.
It's not Sweeney Todd. I don't have a special barber chair that I'll drop
Like
you through the floor.
Bronies.
Bro,
Yeah.
it's gonna be, man. We're taking creepy to a whole new level. Right?
My son, when my daughter liked My Little Pony, he got her for her birthday, took her to a My Little Pony convention. So we road trip to St. Louis.
He had no idea what he was going to see there, and he thought it'd be little kids, huh?
I did. It was creepy.
Right.
And so
Right.
This one voice actor, you could just tell there's all these weird characters,
And
and they're asking questions about characters that nobody cares about, and they're
Right.
asking the voice actor, and when my sweet little 12-year-old daughter, like, sir, he's like, oh, thank goodness, there's a kid,
Yeah, I don't feel so dirty right now.
Yes,
Right.
You little girl, you can ask another question.
Yes, please, little girl,
Yeah.
ask another question
weird.
because I'm going to have nightmares about the
right.
profession I chose. Right.
Yeah, it was awkward.
Right about now. I as a host and as a producer, I forget to I forget to that people I'm going around that are paying me, there's no judgment, but I've been paid to do events where the best thing I can describe about the production is, in a word, feral, maybe something that I did not know was an event. And all of a sudden there's a pig running around in mud that everybody's chasing.
Where's
you
my
know,
squirrel,
right,
baby?
right. There's
Yeah.
there's a bunch of women out in the arena chasing a calf with a little, ribbon on its head so they can win $50 or
Yeah.
$100 or $500 or something. I'm like, I'm filming something that is like 2 men enter, 1 man leaves type situation.
We
when-
need a hero.
yeah, it's gonna be one of those moments where they're like, pack the truck, get out of here. We're leaving.
As
We're
soon as
done.
you can.
Our 6 hours is up.
Yeah.
We're leaving this production, right? All right. So but now I'm gonna be honest. I was born 74. I'm 50 years old. How old are you?
46, born
40
77.
Born 77. So 46-year-old singer, songwriter, recording artist.
Yep.
I mean, you've done jack of all trades.
Yeah.
Ordained minister.
Ordained minister. Been in ministry 25 years.
Mhm.
Okay, here we go.
Left and now doing music.
Doing music. Been a missionary in Cambodia. Ran a ministry called Wakeboard Church.
Mhm.
That was killer, brah. That
I
was,
bet. It's like, bro,
y'all, dude.
God loves you, dude.
I
He
mean,
does.
it was cool. We'd tie our boats up and we'd wakeboard, and then I'd share about Jesus.
Really?
It was pretty cool.
Did you have to carry the Bible like in plastic or something? You had to put it in a sandwich bag or something.
We didn't. I had my boat Bible.
Your boat Bible?
I had a boat Bible.
Is there one that's laminated? That'd be cool.
You just know that the boat Bible. So here's the trick:
But
if
they're
you need
thin
a Bible,
pages, man.
go to the big church,
Uh-huh.
big church that's around you,
Mhm.
and behind the coffee shop or wherever, they're gonna have a lost and found. If you're
Mhm.
there on a regular basis and there's a Bible there for 4 weeks in a row, it's fair game.
Is it
It's-
really?
I just take somebody's Bible.
I
that
know
was-
someone who stole her friend's Bible, and someone had endorsed it at the front.
Yep.
And then they got it back years later, and the endorsement was like crossed out and stuff.
that was me.
No, this is for Tina.
It was my
Like,
boat Bible.
Right?
Sorry about that.
I'm
Yeah.
like, what kind of person steals a Bible?
Ministers.
If you need a Bible, I will give you one. I will
Well,
take you to the store.
Because
and
there's
buy you one.
20 of them in the lost and found. You're
Well,
like, they're not going to use it.
If I have the Bible on my phone,
Yep.
Is it if you're a minister, is it a tax write-off? I mean, is the app a tax
Ooh.
wake? Is the phone a
I'm
tax
not good
write-off?
at
It's like,
taxes. Are they going to hear that?
I don't know.
No.
They're coming for us,
me.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I got to
Crap.
finish mine at home. I'm like, wait, it's not April
We haven't
15th.
started ours.
Yeah, right. That's awesome. Okay, so about how many songs do you have written that you're going on to the album with?
10 songs on the album right now.
Okay.
And then that unlocked. Achievement unlocked. I
Right.
got probably 20.
Skill
So like
level.
7 more that I'm like, I think the next album will be better.
Mm-hmm.
But
That's not bad for playing the guitar for 2 weeks, right?
I
mean, like,
just
you
one of those
started-
YouTube videos.
Did, and
Yeah.
it's like,
And if
okay.
you play it right, the app
It's like,
goes,
this is-
ching.
Can you go from C to G and then back to C again?
It's hard.
You're an expert.
Yeah, that's right.
Like,
I mean, that is country music.
right,
Oh,
right.
Sorry.
It's so much you can do with the key of C.
Yeah.
And I only remember about the key of C that it looks like the middle finger whenever you hold it, like, and you're doing it. It literally looks like the
There
middle
you go.
finger.
Yeah.
You're like, dude, this is the easiest key ever. My mom's like, what are you doing? I'm giving him key of C when I'm 14 years old. I'm giving him the key of C. He wanted to know what key it was in. I told him key of C. It's like, that's awesome. All right. So kicking it off, Cynthia, I'm sorry. We did not forget you. We've got so much to talk about. Cynthia does not feel well. She was not able to be with us today in the studio. I apologize. Sorry, Alf. I forgot to give you the proper introduction intro to the station. I love it.
It's good.
And she's got her Texas Songwriters. If for anyone watching, go up onto the website or go on to Facebook, and you can see the evenbright.com and the Texas State Songwriters.com product. And you've been to some of this stuff, right? And
I won Funnest.
funnest.
Yep. I wrote a new song called Local Honey.
Mhm.
And I bought 80 kazoos and I passed the kazoos out because instead of when we record this one, this will go on the next album. When we record it, instead of a fat guitar solo, we're going to do an awesome kazoo solo.
I want to buy this album. Can I pre-order now?
Love it. Pre-order.
If
Click
I
like,
was the president of
subscribe.
a country, I would have a kazoo solo for 15 minutes in the middle of my song for the national anthem. And if you don't get up and salute it, you're not patriotic.
Executed
You're
right
a
now.
traitor to the
Yeah,
country.
off
You
with
need
his
to be
head.
kazoo for 15 minutes, people. All right, well, play us a little bit of
You
that
wanna
one,
hear-
can you?
Yeah.
Come on.
It's called Local Honey. I got an allergy to being lonely. My friends made a recommendation. The farmer's market has all the sweet temptations. I went to the farmer's market to see what I could see. Cutest little blue jean baby, handing samples out for free. You see, local honey is homegrown, got a flavor that's all its own. People say it's better in the raw. Oh, it's perfect there with all its flaws. A whole host of healthy benefits. Gonna get me through whatever it is. Gonna boost my immunity with some local honey. Oh.
Cue the kazoo now.
Yeah, and then you hit the bridge, and then
yeah, and it's
yeah,
like
there's local
22
honey.
minutes. You get up and
That's
leave
right.
the stage, go take a bathroom break. What is it? Arlo Guthrie's, Alice's restaurant. That's like, have you ever heard it?
No,
It's like 22 minutes.
Oh my!
I think they only play it on Thanksgiving.
Like stoner music.
Oh,
Grateful Dead.
Well, it's a song about how he went to Alice's restaurant right at the time they were drafting in Vietnam, and he was a college dropout. He went to Alice's restaurant, and they took the garbage for Alice to the dump, but the dump was closed, so they left the garbage outside. Well, something blew it open or something got into it, so he was arrested for littering and mayhem. There's a big story about it being a blind judge that came in, and the guy took like 24 glossy photos, colored glossy photos, and there's just all this stuff. And whenever he goes to get drafted into Vietnam, they tell him, well, if you committed a crime, go sit on the Group W bench, where it's the people who have actually done something bad. And he's like, I'm over there with baby rapers and mommy rapers and
I
murderers
littered on accident.
and they're like, what did you do? Littering and mayhem.
Sinner.
Yeah, they're just all, and they tell him that he can't go off to Vietnam because he was guilty of that crime. And he goes, which the sign on Alice's restaurant says you can get anything you want at Alice's restaurant. You never want to go to Vietnam.
There you go.
So he's like, you can get
That's a great
anything you
song.
want. And it's like, it's 20 minutes. It's a
Wow.
long, I mean, it was
And
long.
all
Just
lyrics.
Oh, and he's talking.
Wow.
He's just talking for, he
That's
even talks
impressive.
about how he's been talking for about 15 minutes in this song, and he goes, so I'm about ready done with it, and it's a long drawn out and like comedy, your songs is life.
Yeah, actually, my album's called Tragedy Plus Time.
Right.
Yeah.
Tragedy plus time
Yeah.
equals comedy.
Yep. That's
Yeah,
and country music.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I there are things that have happened to me that whenever I'm telling it, I'm laughing so hard somebody is looking at me going, you're laughing about this. And I'm like, oh, I am.
Because at some point,
They were like, you weren't scared. Oh, I was totally scared to death then.
yeah,
But now looking back on it,
Yep.
That had to have been the best Red Fox performance. This is the big one, Elizabeth. This is the big one. I'm going to heaven now. This is the big one. Oh Lord, I'm coming, Elizabeth. You know what I mean? Like just that moment in your head of just total fear of the things that are going on around you. So wife, kid.
Yep. Kelly, the love of my life, wrote many songs about
You better
her.
hope she does not find out about your wife.
I know.
No, right. No, I'm sorry. Kelly, love of your life. The wife, right?
Boom.
And the daughter.
Yeah, I got a son, Trey. He's 21, and my daughter is 16.
I'm sorry.
She's cool, man. It's like
That's
so the
cool.
whole shotgun boys beating down the door. I'm really proud of her. We taught her how to have super high standards. The joke is that if you want to date my daughter, first 3 things. There's a Himalayan flower, very rare, like in Batman Begins. You got to go get me that. Next, you must defeat me in personal combat. And the third is our Chihuahua has to like you.
Right.
Impossible.
I saw the other day. I have 2 daughters. I have my oldest 27 and two of my own, and I gotta say that there is a like a reel or a Vine. They're called reels now, I guess, on Facebook.
Short videos.
The short videos. And there's a short video of this family that goes to, it's the in-laws, and it's the daughters, the actual daughter's parents, and they show up and they hug the son-in-law. They knock on the door and he's like, hey guys, what's up? And they hug him and they just look at him so sad and we're like, we love you. And then they look, and she's over on the couch, and they're all scared when they look at her. And she's like in a down comforter, like stroking a cat, like Dr. Evil. And they just back out real slowly, or like a chihuahua or something. I don't even remember, but they back out real slowly, like they're scared of her. And I called my oldest. I called my daughter. I was like, Emily, this is you. This is you with your husband. This is just we love him so much, and we want to hug him when we see him, because he's, and I was telling him, I said, when you were, and he's a real good sport about it. I was like, when you win your first knockdown drag out, I want to know about it. And he goes, well, you will, because I'll be the one that was knocked down and drug out the house. He's like,
she'll tell you. Yeah.
He even got up there whenever they got married, and in their vows, and when they spoke to each other, he talked about when he took her on a first date. He said, where would you like to go to eat? And she goes, I want Whataburger. And he goes, my mom's going to kill me if I take you to Whataburger. And he said, well, you asked me. She said, you asked me where I wanted to go. I told you. So he said, we went to Whataburger.
She's a winner.
I was like, man, he's smart.
Yeah.
He knew what was good.
That's awesome
for him. You got daughters, man. You thought you were going to be a dad, but you realize you thought you were going to be like a mafia dad. I heard a comedian say that the other day. It's going to be a mafia dad. And I'll be like, I'm leaving for 3 days. I'll be back. Where are you going? Mind your business. He goes, now I jingle my keys. He's like, I got like 3 housewives in the house. Where are you going?
Yeah.
Take us with you. We want to go. We're going to spend some money.
My daughter, she's always like, be safe.
Right.
I'm like, I'm not a reckless person.
Right. What do you think I'm doing?
She's just sweet. Like, I know that she cares about her. And I lost my best friend. He kind of was a lot of writing fuel 3 years ago, and that impacted our family very much. And so she got to see that process in our family. So there was just a heightened, wow, we do need to take everything. We can't take things for granted. And so there's always, Dad, I love you.
Right.
Be safe. But the implications were like, no, I'm like, watch this. I'm doing burnout.
Right. Watch me.
Shut up, Dad.
Watch me in my front wheel drive Honda Civic as I leave the house. Looking for a living.
I do have a 65 Mustang.
See, yeah, you do,
That's
but you
pretty
wipe
cool.
it with a baby diaper and you hug it, right? You're like, I'm not going to let anyone hurt this.
It's
like, oh, it's not
it's
that
dusty, and I drive it to drive it.
Do you not wash yourself? I mean, come on, man.
Nah.
Do you not wipe anything? You got to take care of this thing.
I love wipes. I do. Like,
wasn't that the greatest invention?
If we're TMI,
ever?
like, yeah.
Right.
When we moved to Cambodia, Kelly loaded us up with we each had our go bag, right? And it was like my first introduction to wipes.
My second wife, I married a crazy lady for 2 years. Worst experience. First wife, 14 years. The divorce we had kids, and the divorce was easier with the first wife, 14 years, and is still a very nice civil person that attends family functions with my family. Second wife, 2 years, crazy person, OCD, out of control. And she filled up a suitcase when we were going to get on the plane to go to Cozumel, or I don't remember. We went on a Mexican trip somewhere, and they set that bag, and they're like, "Sir, you're 40 pounds overweight." I'm like, "What's in there?" It was water and wipes,
which are mostly water.
I think it was like I had like maybe 3 pairs of underwear in there, and whatever else that she had. I mean, and we're going to Mexico, so she's like short shorts and half shirts. The rest was water and wipes,
just in case. Yeah,
just in case.
That's right. Fantastic.
The worst thing ever. All right, so Cynthia's plugging that she does have the car show coming up at the Hilltop Barn. We also have the People Tactical and Survival. We the People. I'm sorry, buddy. I'm so sorry, Joe. I forgot it. It's We the People Tactical and Survival has their thing coming up. You can go to all those on Facebook and look them up. And you got to get your car ready. She was saying.
I know. I need
to ready.
I've got 2 fuel leaks. I hear some speaking.
I know, right? So that's Tiffany out there. Is she gonna?
He's got a cut.
Oh man, we're in trouble. They know you were talking about him. I won't point and say it was you. It was him.
I've seen Sons of Anarchy. I didn't know this was going to happen.
I know.
On the
We're
show.
trained up. We've seen Sons. I'm trained. I'm prepared. One
I'm
time
not.
I got hired as a bouncer at
Steve
a bar.
might
Whenever I know, right? I got hired as a bouncer at a bar right after I retired from the service. And they were like, "How are you with bikers?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm all stocked up. I watch Sons of Anarchy, and I've seen Easy Rider, and Wild Hogs, And I'm like, and they were, "Are you serious?" I was like, "Look, guys, I don't know anything about bikers." He goes, "Well, what would you do if you were in charge of security here?" "I would hire a biker to be in my security team."
Absolutely.
He handles biker issues.
Mm-hmm.
I handle other issues.
Smart, yeah.
Smart. But nothing worse than whenever you have a patched member of a very respectable club walk up to you and go, "Look, I don't handle old ladies. That's your job, boss." And then walk off. And I walk over and I'm in between two of the angriest women.
So what did you
I've
do? Hired an old lady.
No, I
Oh.
went and got the wet towel of destruction. We had this icy cold wet towel that we kept in the ice. And I'd go, "Give me the towel." They give me the towel. And the one that's hottest, she gets the towel on the back of her neck.
Yep.
That's an old bar hack.
You've
right
done this
there.
before.
Oh man,
That's smart.
That's what you got to do to bring them down to a little bit of a cooler
I wonder
temperature.
if that works at church.
I know,
Ooh.
right? When you got one mad enough at you, right?
That's right. Here's
Nothing,
the hot towel or cold towel.
nothing worse than being in the line at Walmart and your line moves faster than the other lady beside you. I have actually said, "Ma'am, just come over here and
Yeah.
go in front of me. I have 87 items. You only have 4. I know, but it's easier if you just go in front of me because I am very scared of you and I feel bad for this kid."
Yeah.
You just don't know what's about to happen. Karen is going to be unleashed, right? What is it called for guys when we go? Is it Kyle? What are we?
My daughter
Ken?
knows it's either a Kyle or a Kevin.
Kevin? Is that what
I
it
feel
is?
like Shaper says it's a Kevin.
It's a Kevin. I if anyone can let us know.
It starts
because
with a K.
I don't really do it very much. I don't get mad and I don't want a manager often.
Yeah,
I don't think.
I don't think I do. Okay, one place I did do that was in Cambodia, and there were new Western style shops.
Mhm.
They do a feral queue.
Mhm.
And so at this, it was called Cambodian Superstore, and my buddy Rich from Canada just very simply copied Walmart in Cambodia. And so there were checkout lines and the whole bit.
Mhm.
And it took a little bit for and there's-
Cambodians to learn.
specifically older ones than me.
Mhm.
Socially, they get to do whatever they want above me.
Okay.
But I'm like, no, this is how this works. Get in line. And so I'm like, they look at me like, no, open this line.
We're gonna have to do like a queue, like we're gonna have to do like a funnel.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Move them in like cattle.
And I had a night where I had enough, and I'm telling people where they are in line. I'm like, "You're next, now you," and they're like, "Why is the white dude at this restaurant telling us
right.
who's next in
Oh,
line?"
here's the oppressor.
'Cause
Huh?
I
Are you
just-
British? Are you part of the
That's right.
colonization?
I was recolonizing
You're
Cambodia.
recolonizing Cambodia
I
all
had
over
enough
again.
that night.
Right?
So
Oh, that's funny. No, I don't. I mean, now we joke about the drunk guy that lives with me. My, significant
what's
other,
his name?
Dreichel. Instead of
Dreichel.
Michael, it's Dreichel. When
Dreichel.
drunk Michael shows up,
Uh-huh.
Dreichel don't hold anything. And if you tell me the next day about it,
Yeah,
oh,
it didn't
man.
happen. It was Dreichel. It wasn't Michael.
No, wasn't me. You got to take it up with him when he gets back.
But
I don't
your
know what I
buddy's
mean,
like,
but-
dude, did you see what you did last night?
Not you. I mean, usually Dreichel only comes out whenever I'm at home because I don't drink out or I get a designated driver or something. So,
Yeah.
and I had an incident where I went to a local establishment and had a few sodas at dinner with friends. And I went to my favorite bar that I go to, and shout out to Kitty Prevette at MacGyver's. Best manager ever.
That's the name of the bar?
MacGyver's.
It's a legit name.
That's a legit name of the bar. It was named after a guy whose nickname is MacGyver because he could build you a shopping mall out of a toothpick and paperclip or something. He'd
Now
make
I
a
wanna
nuclear
watch
bomb.
Airwolf or something.
Right? You know? So I go to this local establishment. I get slipped a Mickey, I assume. I'm with 3 other bounty hunters. I worked as a bounty hunter. These guys are 3 friends of mine.
That's really cool, by the way.
Yeah, it is cool until you get slipped a Mickey Finn.
On the job.
Yeah, one of them went home and told his wife she had orangutan titties. So they were in therapy for like
too loud.
right. They were in therapy for like 3 months. I think he heard it from a comedian on the radio on the way home, and that's where the other one got pulled over and almost taken for a DWI. But the officer didn't smell alcohol, and he told him, "I'm a veteran. I wouldn't drink. Something's wrong." So they got him home.
Oh,
And
that's cool.
And then the other one totally blacked out, but made it home completely. I totally blacked out, went into MacGyver's, had a conversation with people, drank half a beer. Because I do podcast and record, I had my video camera in my hand, had a conversation with the cook about it, and because he's a young guy and he's got like fit abs. I'm like, come on, let me take a video of your.
What?
He's got fit abs.
I don't
for being.
understand.
I know, right?
It's weird.
That's so long ago.
Yeah.
He's like 19 or 20. He's got his whole life. He's still
Right.
got his bloom in life. He's
That's
still
right.
got everything ahead of me. I'm like, let me take a picture of your belly button and we'll put chocolate on it and put it on OnlyFans, like. And then I left, and Kitty, the manager, she was like, where did he go? And they were like, I think he pregame before he came here. She goes, he doesn't pregame. He doesn't drink and drive. Would y'all let him leave? Something's wrong. He drank half a beer. Yeah, he pregame before he got here. It wasn't until weeks later that I even knew it happened. I forgot all about it. Like that chunk of
That's
time.
sketchy.
Yeah, that we went back to the bar and confronted the manager, and he said the waitress doesn't work anymore. There was a problem. You're out. Blah. It's over. And he kicked us out. Wouldn't talk to us. And so, like, I had to go back into MacGyver's and apologize to the bartender.
Oh my goodness.
They were all like, well, you were just drunk, we thought. No, I hadn't drank
Somebody
anything.
slipped me some. That's
Somebody
crazy.
slipped-
You got roofied.
Right. And I'm like, what were you going to get out of it? I carry plastic on me. I
It
don't
was
mind.
that one fan of yours.
Right.
From,
that one fan.
You know
that
who I'm talking about.
Yeah, that one fan that recognized me from Australia.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Crikey. That's the way it goes. Play us something else for a little bit before we go. We
How
got about 2
about
minutes.
2 minutes. How about a song called Linger Interlingua? It's the first song I ever wrote.
Good.
My sister and I had been estranged for quite some time. And so she lived up in New York, and I was heading to Terlingua. She's like, why don't you come up to New York? It's got everything you want. She and I are great now. She's beautiful and a genius, and
Love you, sis.
love you. So much smarter than me. It's
Right.
true. Producer in New York. There you go. But this is about me not wanting to go to New York and going to Terlingua instead.
Cool.
I tell you what, how about this? I'll take the time to spend heading east and head out west. Instead of throwing time away, I will invest. I think I'll linger in Terlingua, that'd be best. You tell me that the city is all I want to see. All the sights and sounds are really something else. All I can imagine at my beck and call. Imagine my time spent doing something else. I tell you what, how about this? I'll take the time to spend heading east and head out west. Instead of throwing time away, I will invest. I think I'll linger in Terlingua, that'd be best.
Awesome.
You like
Love the
that one?
sister, right? Love the sister.
Yeah, she's
Got to
awesome.
send out love to the family, right?
Love you, Beach.
I have two. Excuse me. I have two brothers. I get choked up when I talk about my
I didn't
brothers.
roofie him, guys. I didn't
Right,
roofie
right,
him.
right.
I promise.
I just get so emotional. I miss you guys, right? Yeah, no, that's not it. My brothers are like we all grunt when we're in the room together. It's not very emotional. Feel bad for my mom. It's like Lord of the Flies, right?
Yeah.
Boys in tidy whities bouncing around all over the
Farting
place,
and-
making
yeah.
fart jokes. All right, we got to go to commercial. I'll be right back with Alf Evans.
Here's important new information from the Diabetes Solution Center for you, a family member, or a loved one suffering with diabetes. If you have lost your provider, or if you need a provider for diabetic supplies, you may qualify to receive your diabetic testing supplies now with little or no out-of-pocket cost, regardless of your age. All you need is Medicare or private insurance to be potentially eligible. Call the Diabetes Solution Center right now for details. Just takes a couple of minutes. Our friendly, knowledgeable agents will give you free, no-obligation information, handle all the insurance paperwork, and make sure your supplies are delivered directly to your door for free.
Call U.S. Medical Supply 24 hours a day. 800-597-9323. 800-597-9323. 800-597-9323. Call right now. 800-597-9323.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395.
You're listening to JoCo Community Radio.
All right, we're back. JoCo Community Radio. This is the JoCo Voice. I'm your host, Mike Wilshire. I've got Alf Evans in the hot seat with me. We're going to have some fun on this second half, but I got to get through this commercial first. JoCo Community Radio is proud to be the voice of Johnson County, Texas, and is live 24/7 on the TuneIn Radio Network. TuneInJoCo.com is the place to find all the ways to listen and watch, and the station app is also available for free on Android and Apple devices. Simply search your store, check out our lineup and more at JoCoCommunityRadio.com. This episode and more brought to you by Next Level Claims, making your insurance work for you. Reach out to your Texas sales rep at 844-TEX-HAIL. That's 844-839-4245. Be sure to dress your arms and more at thetiffy.com. All right, I got to do a little housekeeping real quick because I had a politician. I say politician, I apologize. I had a police officer on the other day that's running for constable, and he's running against the incumbent. And to answer all the emails and messages that I'm getting, we will come back to that. I will discuss it on Monday's show right before the election, and I'm putting together a real good story and a write-up about it. Obviously, I have spoken to both candidates on the phone, and since I've done the interview, and I can tell you that you cowards who emailed the DJ Mike Wilshire at gmail.com are a bunch of knuckleheads for not responding in the post on the feed. I wish you would, because it makes you sound like even more of a sissy whenever I have to read from so-and-so in JoCo Precinct 4, from so-and-so out of JoCo Precinct 4. Wish you just post in and face up and talk, and that way I don't have to weed through all your emails. But I will do a show on Monday. I will talk about it a little bit. I have a guest potentially for Monday. I'm hoping it all works out, but I will do some in the second half of the show and discuss a little bit about what was discussed in both interviews when it's over and done with.
Spicy.
All right.
Wow.
Man, it was like, dude, I've never done. And I mean, it was like lit up on my email of stuff that this person did that all hearsay. You can't do anything about that. I could tell people you were the lone gunman on the grassy knoll 60 something, but you weren't born until 76. So I'm like, guys, y'all can't just say these things on, like,
Can't
if
we
you're
all just get along?
right.
Yeah.
Well, if you're gonna do it in the feed at least, so it doesn't look
Yeah.
like it's coming from me. You know what I mean? Like, so I some of the regulars, I'll address their emails. But I've sent back, where's the proof? Tell me this story you're talking about. If you say, so I have a friend named Robbie. He passed away. He had died of complications of COVID and of other comorbidities. He had diabetes, things like that.
Yeah.
And Robbie, there was a rumor about him that he hit a guy and killed him, that he punched this dude and killed him. Well, the truth be known, Robbie did punch the guy. And then 3 weeks later, the guy died in a car crash somewhere else. So people are like, he hit someone and killed him. And I'm like,
it was like Chuck Norris.
Like, what are you talking about? Like was it the magic punch, where he broke the sternum, like the ninja punch that made it go? It
died 3 weeks later.
Yeah, died 3 weeks later. He like took the 2 steps, like,
Kill Bill.
Yeah, Kill Bill. And I'm like, the guy was. I'm like, Robbie didn't kill nobody. Like, it wouldn't do that. It's like a whole different thing.
Like that big bad John. Yeah,
right,
yeah.
right. The biggest, like,
That's
you
right.
know, and Mac the Knife.
That was Jimmy
you know?
Dean that wrote that song.
Right,
Jimmy
right.
Dean. I said,
Jimmy-
now I want
Sausage guy.
sausage.
You know, and I
Dang
know,
it.
right? And you know, he's been dead for like a bunch of years, and he's still the spokesperson for him. Like, I thought he's still alive.
It's that AI. Watch out.
I know.
The deep fake.
Right,
Ooh.
the deep fake. Jimmy
Yeah.
Dean called me the other day. He's been dead for years. Oh no!
It's the ghost of Jimmy Dean
Ghost of
making me eat sausage. Oh no.
My friend Bruce, he passed away, and we're going through his estate, getting rid of stuff, and he was the kind of guy that he did not buy one thing. He bought 3 or 4 things
Just in case.
And his daughter does an impression of him, and I do an impression. I mean, Bruce
That's
was one of those guys
awesome.
where he's like, I'm gonna have to make sure because I'll quit making them. I'm like, they're crescent wrenches, you know. He bought 3 sets of Cobalt crescent wrenches. He brought 3
Just in
sets of
case.
Craftsman.
Yeah.
Like, they're not gonna stop making crescent wrenches. Craftsman's been making crescent wrenches for 85
awesome.
years, right?
Just
We should do that. You should do a song. We're gonna have to write a song about hoarders. We'll have to write a song about you know. Have you watched that show?
I've seen it while I walked through the room while my wife was watching it.
Okay, if you ever want to get your woman to clean the house a bunch, turn on Hoarders and hide the remote.
Oh,
She will kill you trying to find that. She will go yank all the cords out of the like, I don't know which one will stop it, but I'm gonna make it go away.
I am in a new songwriting group that I'm really excited about. Just a few of us are emailing each other, and a theme is sent out each week, and you got to have a song written. It doesn't have to have it in there, but that's to try to get you to keep writing and keep going. And every week, your song's due by Sunday night at midnight. And if you miss 2 weeks, you're out.
Oh my God.
And I'm the new guy, the low man on the totem pole. So I'm like, I want these guys to like me. So it's so good.
And you know, I'm a writer's writer. So I, like you tell me, you know, I want to write a song about hoarding. I will go home and I'll walk around with a notebook in a plastic bag, or my cell phone in a plastic bag.
Wake
so
up and like,
if I'm showering and I think of something, I'll pull it out and hit record.
People think he's crazy.
Right.
Just
So I
writing
can,
song
in the
lyrics.
shower, I'm writing that. I'm like, oh, hoarders go wild,
That's
you know,
awesome.
and like, just like put that in there and just random stuff that's funny to me that I'll come up with. So I'm a writer's writer. And so we do this thing.
We're going to be good
stand-up.
friends.
I know, right?
Okay.
We do this thing in stand up where you, for doing stand up material, they say, okay, write 3 subjects down on a piece of paper and put it in the pile, and then you have to go pick it up. And like, I pull mine out, and it's like school shootings and abortion and one other one. I don't remember what it was, but it was like the worst in the Catholic Church, raping people, you know. I mean, like, it was like 3, and I'm like, dude, what are y'all doing to me? Like, this is like the ramblings. Whoever wrote this, we're calling the cops now. You know, I mean, like, somebody help me. You know, this is a cry for help. And so, I mean, I made the joke work, but at the same token, it was horrible. I go up there and I put on there first BJ you ever had. I put first time you were ever in prison, first time you ever had sex with a man. And he goes, this joke wrote itself. It was all 3 the same night. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and it was just like all this stuff that we, and you're trying to be funny for this audience because it's open mic night.
Okay.
And open mic night, nobody's listening to the comedians.
For sure.
You know, and you get off the stage and you don't realize that this guy you've been sitting to all night's a comedian. So he didn't laugh at any of your jokes. And you walk off stage, he goes, "You're pretty funny. Why didn't you laugh?" "Well, I'm a comedian.
Because
I'm listening.
I'm immune.
Yeah, I'm listening to your timing. I'm trying to catch your cadence. I'm trying to see. You know, it's like musicians watching musicians play.
Yep.
You're like looking at the instrument, you're looking at what he's doing, you're watching his every move and all that stuff. You know, and it's a whole different ballgame.
Do you remember MTV's The State?
Yes.
Okay, my best friend.
God, we're showing our age.
Well, we are now.
Right.
My best friend Matt passed away. Man, he the MTV's The State. They had a sketch called "What Is Funny."
Right.
You remember that one?
Yeah.
And it was like, well, what's funny about this is we're not really in we're not really recording and doing a live show. We're really in a library, and the set would change. And I'm not really me. I'm the Pope. And so it was like, well, ask me what you had for breakfast. Well, I had bacon and eggs. Well,
Right.
that's not funny because I really had bacon and eggs. Now ask me again. And the whole thing was just, if it's not true, then it's funny. And it just devolved. So now all through my life, the whole search for what is funny has happened. My wife rolls her eyes.
Right.
And me and other buddies now, like, we're just, it's almost stupid, but
Right.
I love it. So you're my new favorite person because I'm going to be like, is this funny?
Right. Well, and but you know, the funniest thing ever is when you're a comedian, your girl thinks you're always on. Is this a bit? Are you doing a bit? No, I'm trying to tell you, I got pulled over by the cops and this really happened. You know, I mean, like
I think I might be a not very good comedian aspiring because my wife is always like, no, you're lying. That's a bit. So I'm always trying to do a bit.
You might be really, really funny. Your wife. I heard an admiral get up and give a speech one time. And he said at the beginning of the speech, he said, I gave a speech one time and I got a standing ovation. And he goes, now I get up and I introduce myself and tell everyone that my wife, when I got that standing ovation, I sat down and I said, you know, the world has a shortage of good leaders. And she goes, yep. And it's got one less now. And I was like, ooh, that was good. And he talked about how somebody introduced him and he goes, that's a speech that my mother would cry, my father would be proud, and my wife would roll her eyes at.
Mm-hmm. What is that in the Bible? Like the prophet from his own town, you know? Yeah, no, sorry. It's not going to have a comedian in his own town. It's never going to make it.
I remember we used to have Stump the Preacher night.
Nice.
And he would be, you're not coming up on the stage. I don't want you up there. Because I'd get up there and talk about Song of Solomon or something. I'd talk about, you know, I'd go up there and talk about whenever the three sons laughed at Noah for being naked and made fun of his man, like the things that people were like, that's in the Bible.
You can't say that. Yeah.
They're like, I mean, it's in the Bible. I could talk about it. It's in the Bible, you know. Like, yeah, you go sit back down, little man.
Our poor youth pastor, because we were those kids, like,
oh yeah,
but he was sharp and he could wrestle us. That was a different age.
You had to be.
He could take on 5 of us.
Oh yeah,
love
easily,
you, Kevin.
Easily. It's funny the looking back on it. And the things that, I mean, because I said it earlier about those people I was filming, but that's probably what my mom would use to describe us, feral.
Yeah.
That's probably what us boys were at any given moment. You know, my older brother says 4 words a day and grunts probably a little bit in between.
He's alive.
Right. He's got a son that's 8 or 9 that he, you know, it'll like somewhere around Connor. Love you if you're listening. He's like 8 or 9. He gets around me and boy, he's got questions. And he just told him the other day he was going to my ranch and he was going to hang out with me. He was going back. I'm like, boy, I'm not even going to the ranch. I'm going back to Burleson. Like, where's that? Is it close? Is it far? Dad, I'm going with him. I'm like, dude,
he's at that age.
My brother's like, son, you got school.
Why?
That's 3 hours away. I don't care. I don't care if it's 3 hours away.
That's
you old people, come on, drive. Let's go.
Yeah.
They get in the car now and they're just like, they got their phones and they're like, let's roll, Jeeves.
Yeah.
They got the car and the phone.
Man. Tech.
Do you got a song about tech?
There's that the second verse of Linger and Terlingo kind of barks about it a little bit. Like,
we got 14 minutes left. Give us another one.
Let's do man. I'm gonna do one called Don't Make Them Like They Used To. My buddy Jerry bought a 1968 Gibson and he went over, he found this honey hole of guitars. And the way he described it, this old guy, and he had a safe and he opens it up and like, you know, the seal cracks open, buys the 68 Gibson, calls me over. Love you, Jerry. And
when he opened the safe, it was like the Excalibur.
Yeah.
You know, they were
exactly.
Like, you know, people were humming that song. They were like, oh,
yeah. And he calls me over and we sit down and I just started playing. And like the song kind of like about half of it conceptually came out. And then Jerry's like, put this in it and do this. So this is about, it's called Don't Make Them Like They Used To. Smoke from the tires, 4-speed on the floor. Lifters clacking with a 30 overboard. Smile sneaking out the side of Daddy's beard. Oh, the riddle of him slapping through the gears. Old man long beard on his face, bit of mystery as he opened up the safe. 68 Gibson comes cracking out the case. Its time had come, it no longer had to wait. They don't make them like they used to. There's no way they ever could. Somewhere down the line, they broke the mold. The things that matter can't be bought or sold. No, no, they don't make them like they used to. I'm gonna do this second verse for you. It's military. Oh man, no, cold steel in the palm of my hand, reminding Grandpa of a far and distant land. A cold winter in 1944. It told a story he just couldn't tell no more. No, no, they don't make them like they used to. There's no way they ever could. Somewhere down the line, they broke the mold. The things that matter can't be bought or sold. And then we got a bridge and another verse. Yeah. But I had to put that military nod.
Awesome, man. I like it. I love it. All right. So Cynthia said that her youth pastor that they grew up with, he became their birthday clown, and then he married some of them, whenever they all got married. Was he marrying y'all dressed like the clown? Was it like wouldn't that be awesome?
That's nightmare fuel.
I want, so at my job during the day, I walk out and I get the microphone ready. I do a mic check. I get the computer up. I got the professor comes in and I mic him up and I record him, and it all goes on to the distance learning website. I want to come out and do the mic check dressed as something different every day until they fire me.
Like an alligator.
Or in a chicken suit, and just get up there and go, bark, 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 come out dressed like a duck, quack, 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 just every day. And they'll be like, the media guy's gone, come out dressed like the clown from It.
I've been wanting to how far can I get along in shows when I'm talking, if I change accents,
right?
To where internet world, they're like, no, he's from Ireland, no, he's from Australia. Yeah,
just random, right? Just random stuff.
Oh, this here song's about, and then I go right into Texan voice, but
right, and they just go, it's just random stuff, right?
Froggy.
I know. Wear a different hat. I would love to come in just wearing a huge like we had hat day at school. They were like, wear your cowboy hat to school, and it was funny. One guy, he wore instead of his cowboy hat, he wore his Dallas Cowboys ball cap.
Yeah.
And he goes, cowboy hat.
That triggered a memory.
And so I got sent to the principal's office for wearing a cowboy hat to school on Cowboy Hat Day. And it was the old Houston Oilers big blue one, Love You Blue.
Yeah.
Because we were in Houston.
Uh-huh.
And he goes, well, go get it and put it on your head. And I'm, okay, cool. So I did. And I go, okay, I'm ready. He turned around like, put it over there in the corner. Come back and get it after
Funny,
class.
but no.
Yeah, you're not wearing that hat.
You gotta love those teachers where you're like, okay, points, kid.
But I feel good because the next year they made a rule you could not wear a hat that interfered with classes. And I was like, yeah,
that's
boys.
Because of me.
That's because of me.
Yep.
This guy right
that's
here.
awesome. Yeah. Yeah.
The stuff that people did that was
I used to I lived 1 year in Dunedin, Florida, and the policy was no gang paraphernalia. And I had a t-shirt that it was one of those cheesy Christian t-shirts that looked like one thing, but it's really a Christian t-shirt. And so it looked like the LA Kings.
Oh, wow.
And a teacher's like, you can't wear that. And I was just
I'm in God's gang, woman.
I was like, it's a Jesus shirt. And I was just so snarky. And I'm sure she's in church now because of me.
Right. She really converted over to Christianity and was like, remember that snarky little non-denomination Christian little boy, that you just
I really love Jesus because of him in that shirt now.
Right.
That's how it works, obviously.
I love I love the way, if you really go to church or you really are in religion and do things, you see how it really is at a church, and then you see it portrayed in television, or you see it. Do you ever, as somebody who was in the church ever see something and you're like, yeah, that's so us. That's just how it is, right? Or do you ever see it and they get it right?
So like worship leader. Okay, somebody bought me a shirt, and it's the joke is about Chris Tomlin. Chris, if you're listening, sorry, Chris and Jesse.
Mhm.
It's got, verse 1, chorus, verse 2, chorus, and then just bridge, and it goes down the rest of the shirt.
Right.
So those kind of things. Every denominational has, since you're a comedian, we all have our little things
like
that we
the
can
Simpsons,
poke at.
like the Simpsons, where he's like the den of iniquity, and whenever he speaks the way he
Yeah,
speaks and
yeah.
stuff. So I mean, things like that. Some of it I get, but it's just like military. Like if you see like Sergeant Bilko, or you see, people are like, "You had fun in the military," like that, and I'm like, "No, that's a movie." Like,
Yeah, right.
there are things that do happen that are absolutely hilarious when it happens, but it's rare. It doesn't happen all that often.
My first boss, so my youth pastor, he called me up to St. Louis.
Mhm.
He and his uncle was like the head of the area, and then I was the new kid that they brought in, and like they would kind of like, as one of them's praying in front of the church, the other would come and pinch him in the butt while he's on stage, and you just try to throw you off your game.
Right,
Just funny
right.
stuff.
Like, and Lord, we wish.
Whoa,
you know.
yeah.
My dad would sit up on the front row, and we would give him such a hard time because he's got skinny legs, and so he could cross his legs, where you do it knee over knee. And I was born with thunder thighs. I think I couldn't cross my legs
Nice.
like that whenever I was little. My little brother can do it, and it looks okay. It doesn't even look feminine or anything when they do it. But me,
I've got
no.
the chicken legs.
Yeah, I can't do it. And he'd sit up there on the deacon's bench up there at the church and stuff. It was always so funny, all the stuff that they had going on when we were up there. I remember my mom was singing with him one time, and she needed to stand on some of the hymnals so that they could see her above the podium, and they were rehearsing before they did it. And he dropped those hymnals right in front of her toes, like, and it didn't hit her feet, but it scared her so bad that he smushed her. She's like, ow, and he goes, it didn't even touch you. She goes,
at him.
but it was just a preemptive ow.
Yeah.
It was an ow in case it hurt.
Right.
Kind of
I get that. I have a Chihuahua that does that all the time. Yeah.
Right.
No, you might hurt me.
It was a preemptive type thing. All right. So where do you perform next?
I'm at Senshi Grill in Springtown, Texas.
Mhm.
I'll be there from 5:30 to 8:30.
Mhm.
Y'all come out and get some
Sushi bar is
sushi bar. It's so good. Yeah. And
I gotta realize that like this Asian sushi place has hired you like a white mariachi. They're like, we just gotta. Do you walk around with a headphone on? Do you walk around with a boom mic on and walk around and play for them?
Right.
You're just like, you're their version. They're like,
that's a good point.
like
I always dreamt of doing that because I want to take my 3 buddies or my 2 buddies and move to Mexico and start a restaurant and just say 3 friends.
Yeah.
Or
3 white guys from Texas. 3 Tejanos. Right. And it's funny because my mom, when we would go to this one restaurant where they did have a guy that went around and sang to everybody. He was a Spanish guy, and he sang Spanish music to all the people in the restaurant. But he would see my mom, and he's like, "Oh, I could do George Strait," and he would come over there and sing.
Awesome.
Like he would recognize my mother and come over and harmonize with her because my mom sings.
That's cool.
And he would play like songs that my mom would sing, and stuff. And it was hilarious. He would get up and randomly go around. All right, so we got 4 minutes left. You got the sushi thing coming up. Man, we got to get you over in some of these local ones where it's just a one-man band.
That'd be awesome.
There's places all over
My
here.
buddy Dave is playing guitar with me. He's going to melt faces with his electric guitar.
Right.
We're going to do Willie Nelson and Lucas Nelson's version of Eddie Vedder's Just Breathe. Right?
I love the Goat Boy in what was it? Goat Boy Enrique Iglesias, or no. Yeah, Enrique Iglesias. No, what's the father's name? Jose Iglesias or something like that. It was like whatever it was, and it was To All the Girls I Loved Before, and Goat Boy go. It was Jim Burr would do it, and it was like Will Ferrell was Willie Nelson, and I want to say Matthew Perry was dressed as the Iglesias father,
Speaking
Enrique
of Will Ferrell,
Iglesias'
have you
father.
seen Casa de Mi Padre?
Yes.
In Spanish.
It's so good
Okay.
because it's so what those movies are like.
And
They
Will
did it
Ferrell,
perfect.
like,
Even my friends
Yeah,
in the
we're good
service
friends.
with me,
Do we just become best friends?
right? Even the friends I had in the service that were Mexican guys
Yeah.
that are Mexican American, and they were like, "This movie is what a novella is like. This is what a
It was so
Spanish
good.
movie is like."
Yeah.
You know, and they would. We watched a movie one time, and it was about this lady had like a birthmark on her face, and it was a Mexican movie, and filmed in Mexico, and it was about Pancho Villa's men and stuff, and one of them got injured, and so he went to stay on this of mice and men type Lenny guy was on the farm, and he loved the girl, but she was a rich hacienda owner. She has this horrible thing on her face, and she is a birthmark, and she says to him, you know, what would it do to get you to make love with me? And he goes, you'd have to put this basket over your head. And so later on, this lady walks through the house naked with this basket on her head. And we're just dying laughing at this movie. And in the very end, I don't want to spoil it for anyone if you ever watch it or if you know the name of it and you type in, as God is my witness, this movie has a horrible ending. And to one of my Mexican friends, I go, dear God, that's a depressing movie. And he goes, oh, that's how Mexican movies are. You want a happy ending, you got to go to the United States. He's like, our movies aren't about happy endings. Our movies about why you shouldn't screw up. You know, and I'm like, God, the grim and evil.
There's a politics joke somewhere in there right now.
Probably
too.
right.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there, we're going to have a politics
If you want to have
joke.
a happy ending, go to the United States.
Right. Okay. So 1 minute, 30 seconds left. Cynthia has been blowing us up. I'm so sorry, Cynthia. I hope everyone reads it. But we do have Braden Southern music, Chris Crawford comedy. Chris is funny. Sergio Cervantes, Drew Blues, Bill House, Wally Milligan, Red Dirt Proud, Jay Valdez. I'm not going to be able to get all of these. You guys can read. Give us a little bit more as we take us out.
This is a song called I grew up around the area, went to Grapevine High School. My wife went to Bell, and this is about how I screwed up my proposal. I'll give you the first verse and the chorus. It's about all you need.
Yeah.
If I get
got 53 seconds.
We got this. It's called I'm Sorry I Proposed. I'm sorry I proposed to you at Target. At the time, it seemed the only proper thing. Getting on one knee next to red shopping carts was the only way to give you this old ring. True. Should have done it on that walk under the moonlight. Wish I could have read your mind like I can now. You have always deserved more than I could ever give. I just couldn't wait to offer up my vows. Sorry, not sorry, I proposed to you at Target. Take it or leave it, look at us, now here we are. All I could think of was forever holding hands. Why did you say yes to this ordinary man?
From Burleson to Venus and Grandview to Godley, this is the voice of Johnson County, JoCo Community Radio.
Let's be honest. Wheelchairs are heavy, bulky, and